Greetings, Glitter Gang, and welcome back to Kathryn Scraps Live. We are done with the insides of the Measy Spring Pock-Velope album, or the Medium Easy Spring Pocket Envelope album. It's here. It's chunky. It's a chunker. We're going to put a cover on it in this episode. So the first thing we're going to do is find 2 sheets of anything. So I've got 2 sheets of this. Let's just flip from the back. Kind of boring. Ooh, that's probably going to be a winner. Not that. I mean, the clouds are kind of fun. Although I think the stripes make more sense with what we've been doing, but we'll see. No, maybe. Okay, I'm gonna go with the stripes, but I'm gonna put the clouds on the inside, so we'll keep these. All right, so we've chosen our paper, and now we need to do some calculations. So the paper is going to be just big enough. Just big enough. So, all right, when you do an album, I like to add 1/4 of an inch on all the sides except the spine. So what that means is to the width, you add 1/4 of an inch. So in this case, our width is 7, so it becomes 7 1/4. And then 1/4 plus 1/4, that's a half. So to the length, you add a half. So in our case, it's 10, so it becomes 10 1/2. So the cover is 7 1/4 by 10 1/2. Okay, and I'll cut these 2 pieces of 8 1/2 by 11 chipboard down to that. Now, to calculate the size of your paper, you just add 2 inches to each of these measurements, and that gets you your paper. So in this case, it's 9 1/4 by 12 1/2. Now, obviously, our paper is 12 inches. As long as it's under 13, you can squeak it. Once you get to 13 and up, you want to start thinking about making your own extended paper. But as long as it's under 13, in this case, as long as you have between 1 inch and 2 inches, you're going to be totally fine. Once you start going over 1 inch or getting less than 1 inch, that's when you want to maybe think about extending your paper. So in this case, if I had 11 1/2, if I had needed 13, I would have thought, let me think. So once all right. So there we go. So what it'll be is, these will be 7 1/4 by 10 1/2, and these will be 9 1/4. These meaning the stripe, which is what we're putting on the outside, will be 9 1/4 by 12 1/2. Now, here's the important thing about the stripe. When you cut a stripe that's on the diagonal like this, if you turn it 180 degrees, it'll look the same. So you can see that the stripes are going from top left to bottom right, even if I turn it 180 degrees, so that what's on the top is on the bottom. If you want to change the direction of your stripe, you only turn it 90. So if instead of going left to right, I want them going right to left, then I have them going this way. If I want them left to right, I have them going this way. What we want to do is make sure we cut both pieces of paper the same. Whether they're going from left to right or right to left, it doesn't really matter aside from any personal preference you have. But what you wouldn't want is one going left to right and one going right to left. Okay? So what I'm going to do to avoid this is I'm just going to cut them together, while they're both facing the same direction, and that way I'll know they're exactly the same. All right. So there they are. All right. So those are ready to go. Now we'll cut these down to 7 1/4 by 10 1/2. 7 1/4 by 10 1/2. All right, so that's enough to get started. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. Just gonna get this. Okay. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna draw a line 1 inch in from every edge. And that line is gonna help me get everything lined up properly. So let me just find a pencil. No? All right, well, I didn't see a pencil immediately, so I'm just gonna go ahead and use my pen. No one will see this, so it really doesn't matter. All right. All right, so welcome to Kathryn Scraps Live. My name is Kathryn. This is a show where I scrap live in real time projects from beginning to end. So if we have an album basics guide to work from, we'll choose our paper and format and all of that. And if we're starting completely from scratch, we will do the album creation as well, which is what we did with this one. This entire project is in a YouTube playlist. If you want to see more of it, follow along, make your own, go to town if you do want to. And then next week we'll be back to, I think we're doing a Father's Day album, technically is what we're doing. And my printer is set up, unclogged, actually printing things once again. It was touch and go there for a bit. We thought we might have to replace it, but we got it coughed back to life. So there we go. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my 2-inch tape. And this pen always smears all over my hand. I wonder if it's leaking. I'm going to use my 2-inch tape and cover this in the tape. And you can see I'm covering up my lines. It doesn't matter. They will be back as soon as I peel the tape backing off. I'll be able to see them through the tape, so no problem. I hope you all had an amazing day today and that you have fun things planned for the weekend. Sounds like Donna has gotten a head start and is at the beach already. Good for you, Donna. So we're just covering with tape. We are going to do an external spine on this one. Haven't done one of those in a while, but I do have a gray craft text that perfectly matches the cardstock color we used. So I thought I'd do that, and I thought we'd use some of the wild brads to decorate the soft spine. So, since we do have plenty of brads left from it, they're not going to like be perfectly matching in a row or anything, but they'll still be cute. They'll be eclectic, which is what this album is anyways, because it has so many different paper lines and such that we used. All right. Now, here we go. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to work with them one at a time. I'm going to burnish. I'm using Miracle Tape here, which is a strong double-sided tape. It's from a family of tapes known as pressure-sensitive tapes. And what that means is that the more pressure they're under, the stronger they are. Other tapes in this category, Score Tape from Sookwing, or Score Pal, depending on where you are in the country, or excuse me, in the world. If you're in the US, it's from Score Pal, and if you're anywhere else, it's just directly from Sookwing. ATG. ATG is a pressure sensitive tape, and I'm on my last roll. I need to order more, and I've said that to myself 3 times today. So it's not looking good for me getting more ATG. All right, so I know that from side to side I'm correct, but from top to bottom I'm not, so I'm going to center it. I'm going to use one of the side lines to get it straight, and then I'm going to center it as best I can in the middle. So these lines are more like guidelines. And then I'm going to use my perfect trim tool to trim. And I use 0.0625 pretty much always, because that's what most chipboards are. It could happen, Bev. It could. I could get off the show tonight and immediately do it while my videos are uploading and be a good girl. I guess you'll find out next week if it did happen or not. All right, so once I've cut the corners, it's time to start folding and burnishing. And what we're going to do is, it's kind of a 3-step process. So step 1 is I get up underneath the chipboard and I make sure that the paper is creased to the bottom edge of the chipboard. Then I get it standing straight up. Then I twist it a little bit so it's stuck to the top edge of the chipboard. And then once it's stuck to the top edge of the chipboard, I can press it into place. Then burnish it more strongly. Then I want to tuck my corners because you can see I have a little bit of overlap there And that is to cover this raw chipboard so it doesn't peek through. So I just want to cover those, and what I do is I just put this on the side and then I rock it towards the middle, and that folds it over for me. So you can see I've got that tiny little fold, and that's what I want. And then we just repeat on the remaining 3 sides. And here we go. Last one. Oh, not last one. Second to last one. Penultimate. All right, so this is now covered. And if we're going to do an external spine, one thing that I like to do with external spines is I like to put brads in them. So what I've done is I've centered it on my mat, and I'm going to get a centering ruler and line it up so that my 0 matches the center of my line, and the 1/2 inch is on the edge of my chipboard. Okay, and then I'm just gonna take my pen and I'm gonna mark at 0, at 4, and then halfway between them would be 2. So those are where I'll make my marks. So 0, 4, and 2. And then I'm just going to draw a line that connects all of them so I know where the center is. And then I'm going to take these, I'm going to take my 1/16 inch hole punch, and I'm going to pierce holes here. Okay, so now I have room for my brads. Okay, all right, but so far this is the cover. So just gonna set that to the side. I have my craft text here for my spine. We just need to do it again. So burnish, peel, and then what we're going to do is we're going to get the whole thing totally bound, and then depending on how much time we have left, we'll either do final walkthrough, or if we have a bunch of time left, we might make some kind of decorative element for the front cover. It'll just depend on how much time we have left. How much time is left? Oh, I found my pencil. Okay. All right, so all the cats really are fine. You know, aside from like their usual complaints, we want to go outside, that kind of thing. The biggest problem is Kitty has always had separation anxiety with me. And I think we just never noticed how strong it was, because before, when I was working, she could walk upstairs, take a look at me, see that I was still around, and then if she wanted to just take a nap on the floor, she could take a nap on the floor, and, you know, all would be well. And now she can't see me anymore. And she just howls at the laundry room door if I'm out here working. And she doesn't even wait for me to be really gone. So like earlier today, my sister was standing by the door to come in the laundry room as I was coming through the laundry room. And before I even cleared the laundry room, Kitty was howling and my sister could hear her and was like, what the heck? His name is Damien. Well, currently there's not been a consensus on letting them in the garage. So until everyone's comfortable letting them in the garage, we're not going to let them in the garage. But the issue is that because they're so kind of like determined to get outside, you can't open doors around them. They just rush any door that opens. I mean, Marcel gets into the laundry room all the time. And so what happens is you got to have, we call it the airlock, you know, so that you only go through one door, and that way if a cat follows you, they can't get all the way outside. And the only way to do that is through the laundry room, which would have gone to the garage before, but it's now the office. And so, you know, I understand the people who are concerned. I think we could probably figure it out, but, you know, and as long as people are concerned, we will not do it. And the biggest issue is really Marcel, because he is the worst. He's so, you can't catch him. You know, once he's out the door, he's just gone, racing, sprinting away. He loves chasing and being chased. It's literally his favorite thing on earth to be chased. So, he never comes back. The last time he got out, it took us over an hour to get him. And we had to have neighbors helping us and everything. It was just wild. So, we're just kind of, yeah, it's his favorite game. He loves it. So, until we can figure out some kind of system that isn't really burdensome on the humans, then they're just not going in the office. So, and you know, what it would mean is if someone wanted to come in the house, they'd have to check where all the cats were. So they'd have to like call from the driveway to figure out which was the best door to go in if we were letting them in the office. And that's very annoying. Like, I understand that that's annoying, so. Okay, so we have now prepared this. Okay, so now we're on to having to work with this. So this is going to be our spine. And this edge is very straight, so I'm going to be able to come in no problem. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut it to 10.5, so it's a little bit easier to work with. Well, I mean, I miss them coming to class too, and also, you know, they miss hanging out in here. So, okay, so the soft spine, so this external spine is the same height as your cover, which in our case is 10.5. So I've cut it 10.5. And the width is whatever this width is, which is 1.5 to 2.5, 2.5 plus 2.25 inches, so 6.25 inches. So let's hope this is 6.25 inches. It is. Phew. Wait. It's not 6.25, it's 6.75, right? Did I just do this wrong? Let me think. 2.5 plus 2.25. How did I even get 6.25? Am I like just crazy now? 3/4 plus 3/4 is 1.5. 2.5 plus 2.25 is 4.5. 4 3/4. Okay, 4 3/4. Whee! Okay. So, the first thing we're going to do is punch holes for our brads. So, let me do that. But yeah, I miss them visiting us. They miss coming in here, but it would just be so annoying if Marcel got out. So we're going to have to just, until we can come up with something that makes sense. I mean, if they would stop trying to escape, that would be the way to do it. But okay. Okay. And then now we'll do the other side. I'm hoping that maybe for our makeup scrappy bowl, glitter bowl, for Glitter Bowl 2023, that we can have them come out, because it would be like a contained time period. But my sister's concern is that if they come out here and they have a really good time, then they'll be even more motivated to come out here. Like right now they don't know what it is, you know, what, they don't know what's going on, they don't know what there is to be excited about. They just know they haven't seen it, you know, and cats, they want to see everything. So she thinks they might be worse if they get a taste. All right, so now this is a little bit tricky because this is a, I didn't do both sides of this one. One more set of cuts. They are very nosy. I feel like there's a saying, something about cats and curiosity. Oops. I definitely tried to confuse myself here. I made too many cuts, or too many marks. So. All right, now we did it. Okay. So this is the front, like so, okay? So what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna make a line 1 inch in from the edge. Easy peasy. We're gonna cover it with glue. So we'll see. We'll see if I can get permission for a glitter bowl. Well, they are kind of fireballs, especially Marcel. All right. Okay. So we're going to work with one side at a time. I'm going to use Scotch Quick Dry. You have to use liquid glue for craft text, really, or it's just not gonna give you a result that you're happy with. All right. So we're just gonna give it a burnish. And then I'm gonna put bacon presses on it. While we prep the other side. Okay. Thank you, Barbara Jean. I appreciate it. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and we'll go ahead and put all 3 bacon presses on it. And I'm going to just try and slide it up over here. Oops. And it can just sit there a little bit while we prep some other things. Okay. So the next piece that we've got is we've got the inside bit that's going to cover our brads and just kind of reinforce the front cover a little bit. And that is measurement wise. Okay, let's just write it down. So our covers are 7 1/4 by 10 1/2. So this piece is 1/8 inch shorter on the width. So 7 1/8. And it's 1/4 inch shorter on the length, so 10 1/4. So 7 1/8 by 10 1/4 is what we're going to cut our cloud paper. So we're going to go ahead and cut it, tape it, ink it, do all that. Well, and then let that just rest. Now with these, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them face to face like this before I cut them, so that they're not exactly the same, so that they mirror image each other. Okay. All right. There we go. Why are the holes on both sides of that one piece? Oh, I thought I didn't make the holes, so I made another set of holes. I literally just didn't notice them. Oops. Well, I thought it was weird that I skipped a set of holes, and apparently I didn't. We'll just do something to decorate it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and ink these with the ink that we use throughout the album, which is pumice stone. Distress ink. And yeah, it'll be unique. It'll just have a row of decorative brads on both sides. How funny. All right. I'm going to go ahead and cover these in tape. Yes, we're going back to hip to be square when this is done. We paused because I didn't have any paper for hip to be square because I have that collection digitally and the printer wasn't working until this week. But the printer is now working, so I can print more. So timing has worked out pretty perfectly. Pretty perfectly. So yeah, we're going back to hip to be square. And we've done, I think, a page of the one that we're doing with a father's theme. And then we will do I think wedding is what we decided for the big one. So we have 2 more hip to be squares left. We have to finish the father's one and then we'll do a wedding one. And then for the hip to be square, it's in the instructions. If you have the album basics guide, then it's in there. It's the second one, B, I guess. Or if it's not in there, it explains how to resize. Every album basics guide explains how to do the math to resize the cover in the example to any cover that you need. But I thought for that one I did all 3 sets of measurements, but it might have only been for the pages. I might not have done 3 covers. So you may have to math. Sorry, if you have to math, sorry. All right, so my dry is clear. My glue is clear, so my glue is probably dry. So, or at least dry enough. So we're gonna go ahead and start putting it together. I'm just going to move my... So what I want to do is I'm just going to feel to make sure my holes line up well enough that I can stick something through both the chipboard and the Craftex. For the dad one or for the wedding one? Okay, so now let's do Brad's. Brad's. All right, so it's of course the front cover that has the messed up ones, but that's okay. So what I'm gonna do is probably the dad one. Okay, the dad one's the medium-sized one then, Barbara Jean. The one in the middle. I'm gonna take these brads that I know I have 2 of, in 3 colors that'll work well enough with the collection. Barbara Jean, can you email me please and ask? Because unfortunately I can promise you now that I'll do it and then I won't remember. My memory is not great on I will have every intention of doing it, but as I discussed at the beginning of the show, I've reminded myself 3 times today to buy ATG and I haven't done it. So if you would be so kind as to ask me, that would be amazing. And then it will definitely happen. Otherwise, I don't like our chances. I don't. So, thank you. I appreciate it. Okay. So, here we go. All right. So I've got those down. So now I have 2 more kind of sets that I need to figure out. I've got 2 blue ones, a pink one and a green one. So what I wonder now, and I only have 2 blue ones because I could harvest one from this one. That's not a very ominous harvest. All right, so let's look for kind of medium-sized ones. Like this has a sun. We need 4 that'll work. I think I'll grab them from here. Definitely going to take the sun. We'll go ahead and put it here. Okay. All right, let's see. This one we want something in the pink. I'm gonna go ahead and go with this stripe. Okay. All right. And then opposite the pink, I want another that's kind of pink but a little bit darker. So I'm going to go with this one here, which is a tone-on-tone pink but just a little bit darker. And then here, I want something more yellowish, I think. Oh, I already did that. I just need one more blue one. Okay, well, there's another blue one right there. Thank you. See, you understand me. All right, so now we've got all our brads on here. And very cute, actually. no problem that it's all extra. So Heather ordered the Tim Holtz rotary trimmer even though she was skeptical. And she says, and even though the reviews were not amazing, but she says that she really likes it. So it's possible. Wait, why am I putting these away? I'm not done. I need to do the back. Okay. Now on the back, I could just do the two blues that I have in the middle and then do pink, green, and black and just kind of call it a day. I think that's probably the right answer. But I also have these. So I could just do totally different colors. It's just a matter of, do we think they need to match? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I need 5 of them. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just do a rainbow on the back. And you... So we're going to do red. And that's kind of orangey. I don't think I have a true red anywhere. So that's fine. That's fine. We'll do yellow in the middle. Is there a greenish one? Of course not. But there's a blue and there is kind of a purplish one. So let's do blue and violet down here at the bottom. Okay. I'm going to move this orangey one down and put a pink one at the top. I'm going to take the pink from here. All right. Okay, so there's a little rainbow on the back. Cute. So now we'll just go ahead and press these all down. And the brads are mostly here to be cute. But they also are here structurally as well, in the sense that I want kind of a fail-safe for holding the craft text to the chipboard. And the brads do provide that. So, because they are going to give a little extra grip and hold it on, so we will be okay. All right, so now we can attach the rest of it. So this is the front cover where we have our 2 sets of brads looking cute. All right, so the way that we attach the front cover is very easy. We're just going to take this flap here and we're going to line it up with the edge of the paper, okay? Yeah. It's just in case, you know, do I really think we're going to need it? No. Is it nice to have? Yes. And you can see I have a tear So I'm just gonna put a little tape there. And that is mostly because this album has been slung around more than the average Kathryn. It's been through more in its little life than the average album. Because, oh, I just tore the tape. Wow. Great. Because of unpacking and moving and stuff, this album gets slung around a lot, the poor little thing. So, all right, I'm going to put the tape in 2 different directions to kind of try and really reinforce that area. And mostly it's like a run and a stocking. We don't want it to keep going, you know. All right. Burnish really well because you are going over brads. Okay. And then we're going to line up the back. And what I like to do with the back is I kind of prop the front of the album against my chest. And then I can pull it forward, line it up, and stick it down. Okay, and then once it's in place, I can go and really burnish it well again. All right, now it's in. It's in. That's how it looks from the top. That's how it looks from the side, the front, and the back. Very cute and festive. We lost this. Apparently the original instinct to leave the back alone was correct. Oh, we got a gator. No, the craft text just needs to loosen up a little bit. If I set something heavy on it overnight, I think it'll be okay. So, all right, now we got to do the insides. Okay, so with these, pretty simple. We're just going to peel the tape and line it up with this score line here, and then that'll line the front cover. All right. All right. Okay, so now I'm going to burnish that very well because this is also partially pretty and partially structural. Okay, doing the back. And we're finished. We're an hour in, so I think we are going to have time to do a decorative element on the front. I love it too, Melanie. I agree. It is such a fun, festive little book. Okay, so we've got the covers on. So we've got our spine. See how this craft text blends? This is the stone color. Blends very nicely with this graphite. All right, we're good to go. All right, so cover is done. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a recording break so that the whole construction for the cover and all the measurements are all on one video. And then in the next video, we'll make a decorative element to go right here, right up the center. And then the final video from tonight's class will be, and the final video in this playlist will be a walkthrough of the album in detail showing everything. So, so that's what's in store. So for those of you who are watching live, just hang tight. Nothing's going to change for you. For everyone else, if you're watching in the archives, just click to the next video, see the rest of the class. And if you're watching on YouTube, check the playlist for the remaining videos in the album. And if they're not there, just wait a couple days and they will be. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye now.